If you were playing mobile games on your phone back in the early 2010s, there's a very good chance you've heard of the franchise Modern Combat. At the time, this was essentially Gameloft's answer to Call of Duty or Battlefield on mobile, and it was pretty huge for what it was. Between 2009 and 2014, the franchise saw 5 main releases, from Modern Combat Sandstorm in 2009, Modern Combat 2 Black Pegasus in 2010, Modern Combat 3 Fallen Nation in 2011, Modern Combat 4 Zero Hour in 2012, and finally Modern Combat 5 Blackout in 2014. Alongside the main series, Gameloft also experimented with multiplayer-focused spin-offs. Modern Combat Domination launched in 2011 on PS3 and Mac, and later on Modern Combat Versus released in 2017 as a mobile and PC title. Unfortunately, both of these games have since been shut down, and today, every Modern Combat game outside of Modern Combat 5 is no longer officially playable through any app store. Because of that, you'd be pretty safe to assume that the franchise more or less died around 2017, or shortly afterwards when the game shut down. But what a lot of people don't realize is that there was actually one more Modern Combat game that released in 2019, because the chances are you've never heard of it yourself. Let's talk about it. Modern Combat Rebel Guns was a 2019 Android-only mobile game that released with almost no marketing or press coverage at all. There's no Wikipedia article, no proper Modern Combat wiki page, barely any reviews, and almost no discussion of it online. Even Gameloft's own website barely acknowledges it, with any pages that once existed for the game being removed or are no longer accessible. From what I could piece together, Rebel Guns wasn't released on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store at all. Instead, it appears to have launched through Gameloft's own store or via specific regional partners. For example, there was an old Gameloft Android WAP store where Rebel Guns was being sold for around about $3. That means it wasn't free to play, which was pretty unusual for 2019, but it also makes sense once you actually start playing the game, because it doesn't really have any microtransactions. It's hard to say why the game released like this, or why it was kept so quiet. Still, it carried the Modern Combat branding, it was made by Gameloft, and it launched as a premium game, which makes its near total disappearance even stranger. Now, let's talk about the game itself. Rebel Guns is not your typical Modern Combat FPS. Instead, it's a top-down isometric shooter. You use one stick to move around the map, and when you start firing, your character automatically locks onto enemies, allowing you to strafe and reposition while shooting. It actually works really well on touchscreen and feels surprisingly polished. The game is also completely offline, with no online mode, no in-app store, no currency packs or energy systems. It's a fully standalone experience, which is incredibly rare for a mobile game released in this era. The campaign is spread across 6 chapters, with each having a set amount of missions. There aren't really any cutscenes, instead you're dropped straight into the first mission, and the story is slowly fed to you through short text dialogue during and in between missions. It's fairly minimal, but it does do enough to give context into what you're doing and why you're there. Progression is straightforward. Each mission has you push through enemy-filled maps, dealing with ambushes, surviving waves, and reaching an objective of some sort. Completing missions earns you XP and currency, which allows you to upgrade your characters, weapons, abilities, and a mech that you can control. There's no hard level requirements, and from my playthrough, I never really had to grind. The XP and money you earn naturally from completing missions felt balanced enough to keep progressing without much trouble. If you ever did hit a wall, you could replay earlier missions, but it wasn't something I personally had to do. Now the story starts with you dropping into a facility called KORP, playing as a character called James Walker. The first bit of dialogue explains that you're there because your daughter has been kidnapped, so you've arrived to take her back. You get intercepted by someone called Sophie, who explains that she used to work with your wife Anita before she was killed, and that Anita had an overarching plan to take out KORP before her death. So together with the help of Sophie, you infiltrate KORP in an attempt to take down the corporation and save your daughter. In doing so, though, you do discover something called Project Ender, which essentially is 3 massive doomsday mech capable of wiping out half the world. Through the missions, you sort of move from point A to point B, trying to reach a specific objective. It might be to find a specific area, or find a data pad, or just kill a specific person. But along the way, you do get ambushed by someone by the name of Ghost, a former KORP engineer who helped design the mechs before being double-crossed and left for dead. After an initial confrontation, you explain that you aren't part of KORP and you are also there to take them down, so you all team up to work together and locate the 3 mechs, find your daughter, and get out of there. However, throughout the campaign, you're also opposed by someone by the name of Olivia Wallace, who is head of KORP's R&D division. She repeatedly hijacks the mechs that you're trying to destroy in an attempt to kill you, but you never actually confront her directly. By the final chapter, all 3 Ender mechs are destroyed. James's daughter is still missing, and Olivia Wallace escapes. The game ends on a cliffhanger, clearly setting up a sequel or an expansion that unfortunately never came. You unlock 3 playable characters throughout the game, each with their own distinct play style. James Walker is your all-rounder, using an assault rifle and handling mid-ranged combat well. His special ability is an airstrike, which allows you to deal area of effect damage when things get overwhelming. There is Sophie, who is faster and more agile, who wields dual SMGs and is able to dodge twice in quick succession, with her ability being a temporary boost to speed and damage, which is very useful during boss fights. And finally, you have Ghost, who is your close-range powerhouse, wielding a shotgun and dealing massive damage up close, and he has a shield ability that allows him to become temporarily invulnerable for about 10 seconds or so. Each character as well has access to a range of grenades that you can purchase and equip, and finally you all have the ability to control a mech, which gets airdropped when you call it in, and you can use it once per mission, which is very useful when you're getting overwhelmed or if another mech shows up that you need to take down. The mech itself has its own health bar and ammo supply, with its main weapon being a machine gun, a secondary rocket launcher, and a similar ability to James where you can call in an airstrike to attack enemies around your vicinity. For a modern combat game, Rebel Guns is very different, but honestly it was a lot of fun. It's fast, addictive, and incredibly refreshing to play a mobile game in 2019 that isn't constantly trying to slow you down with microtransactions or artificial grind. It's a real shame that it was so overlooked and removed so quickly because it just never really got a chance to shine. The more I look into this game, the more fascinating it becomes. It feels like a title Gameloft didn't quite know what to do with, or didn't see as a major project. Perhaps it was a side experiment, or maybe it was built for a specific market, maybe it was just bad timing. Unfortunately, there's just no real information out there, and every attempt I made to contact Gameloft has gone unanswered. So, this is a call out to my audience. If anyone knows more about Rebel Guns, how it launched, why it disappeared, or what the original plan was, please let me know. I would genuinely love to learn more about this game. Years after its release, Modern Combat Rebel Guns remains largely forgotten, but it is a great reminder that even big franchises can have strange little offshoots that slip through the cracks. If you're a Modern Combat fan, I definitely recommend checking it out. If you do play it, you'll be one of the few people who can say you've experienced this lost Modern Combat game. And just on that as well, let me know if you would be interested in me covering the other Modern Combat games as well. I'd definitely be interested in doing a video on each of the games, as well as some other Gameloft franchises such as Nova and Gangstar, so definitely let me know in the comments below if there's any particular titles you'd like me to cover, or if you see one in there that you would like, just please give it a thumbs up so I see it in the comments as well. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.